Nobody wants to be forced into buying something, but with Obamacare, you get a big old tax penalty if you don't buy what they tell you need. It is a beautiful day here today in Olean, New York, where I'm going to show you how weak the Affordable Care Act is and that you do not need to pay that stupid fine for not having their coverage. I say, keep your money and spend it on what you want instead of what you're told that they tell you you have to have. Now, before I get started, know that I'm not a tax attorney or that I'm not an accountant. I'm just a financial planner who wants you to get the most out of your money and help you have more of what you want out of your life. Feel free to confirm the information that I'm giving you in this video with a tax attorney or accountant before you act on it. Listen, I'm a big fan of the intent of the Affordable Care Act. That was where people are supposed to have affordable insurance that provides access to the best medical care possible for all Americans. But it's not. If it was, though, I wouldn't be making this video. Prices of these policies have skyrocketed. Choices are dwindling and the doctors who accept them are declining every day. These ridiculously high premiums are causing many families to just say the hell with it. They don't even carry any health coverage. And then they allow the government to take their money through that fine because they didn't obey the law. Still, others buy these ridiculously expensive policies because they believe they have to in order to have coverage and avoid the penalty. Here's the reality. You don't need to pay the tax penalty, and you might not need to buy a health insurance policy through Obamacare to protect your family. How can this be so? First of all, let's say you decide you don't want to have coverage at all. You don't plan on getting sick or getting into an accident. Who does? No problem. Bam, you are penalized. Fork over some money, right? Wrong. The IRS will assess a penalty on you for not having coverage, but they cannot collect it. That's unless you allow them to. The only way Uncle Sam can collect this penalty is by seizing any tax refund that you have coming to you. For any other tax that you owe the federal government, IRS agents are like the German Gestapo. If you get on their bad side, they start placing liens on your property, garnishing your wages, and they could even put you in prison for not paying up. That's not so with the ACA penalty. They can't do anything unless you let them take it from your tax refund. Do you love your tax refund? Then by all means pay up for the health coverage or pay the IRS the tax penalty. My opinion, as altruistic it is for you to make an interest-free loan to the government, you should always be writing a check to the IRS on April 15th for the taxes that you owe. Now realize, writing a check for the taxes at the end of the year doesn't change the amount of total tax that you have to pay on your income that year either. The amount is always based on the total taxable income that you have that year, minus any tax credits you might have eligible for. So write a check for the taxes you owe, minus the penalty that you might have to pay, and that's it. The IRS will leave you alone. Do you believe the IRS will somehow harass you because you didn't obey the Obamacare law they legally can enforce? Listen, I can't say they will or they won't. Odds are they won't because they haven't yet. Now, who they are harassing are the folks who understated their income during the open enrollment period in order to receive the advanced tax credit, which lowered their Obamacare premiums. When those people do their taxes and they end up making a whole lot more than they said they were, they have to pay their taxes and pay back the money the government gave them during the year for their insurance. If they don't pay up, then the enforceable penalties and fines are coming their way. Those tax credits are for people in certain levels of poverty. So if you're making more than the poverty level, then you are expected to pay your full share of these ludicrous prices to be on these Obamacare insurance policies. Now, a second way you can get out of the penalty is that if the price of the lowest cost plan on the exchange in your state is over 8% of your income, then you don't have to pay the penalty. In my opinion, again, there are two types of people that should be buying Obamacare policies. The first type are people who don't make a lot of money and do receive a tax credit to lower their share of the premiums. I have helped people to get coverage for as little as $1 a month, and then they get a $2 cobase to go to the doctor and have deductibles that are like $0 or $500 for major health issues. That's a good deal. The second group of people that should buy Obamacare are those that have pre-existing health conditions which prevent them from getting coverage elsewhere. A person like me fits into that second category. You see, I'm going through treatment for esophageal cancer right now. Believe it or not, this is my second battle with cancer in my life. I had lymphoma back in 2003 as well. A lot of people look at me today and say, "Man, you look so healthy," and I admit, well, I do, considering what I have to work with. But I was in pretty good shape before I was diagnosed both times. How did I get cancer twice? Well, honestly, the first time I blame the oil industry, which was active in the area I grew up here in Olean, New York back in the late 1800s. And that's a story for another time. The second time I've got it is probably because of the treatment I received the first time. Catch-22. I didn't plan on getting cancer twice before I turned 45, but here I am. This year I've spent 22 days in the hospital, lost 45 pounds in 6 weeks because I couldn't eat, and I had to have a feeding tube surgically inserted in my stomach so that I could get something down and get some calories in me. Let me tell you, it has sucked. But financially this time around, I am exponentially better off than I was when I had it in 2003. Back then, I had health insurance. I probably paid a total of $250 in out-of-pocket expenses to get treatment. My premium for my health insurance coverage back then was $870 a month. I remember. Now, most people would hear that and say, man, it's a good thing that you had great coverage. And that is the misconception. In reality, I had crap coverage for my money. For $760 a month in 2016, my coverage was profoundly more robust. Looking at my medical bills this year, I would have had been on the hook for well over $500,000 if I didn't have coverage. But because of the way I structured my insurance premiums last year, before I got sick again, my family's received thousands of dollars in cash benefits over and above what my deductible and premiums have been. And consider this, I wasn't eligible for a majority of plans that are available to people who have little or no medical history. Now, Obamacare plans tout what are called minimal essential benefits. MEBs sound important because it implies, hey, if your health insurance policy doesn't have these minimum benefits, then it must not be very good. Well, here they are. What do you think? Are they important? There are millions of people who are perfectly healthy, don't have a drug or alcohol problem, and can pay a $300 wellness visit out of their pocket as long as they're saving several thousands of dollars on coverage that would take care of their family if something major were to happen. I personally want a different kind of MEB. I call these maximum extraordinary benefits. People that have any type of medical plan that is issued by an insurance company can check box 61 on their IRS Form 1040. So arguably, there's the third way you and your family can avoid paying or even being assessed a tax penalty for not having an Obamacare health plan. Knowing this, it is now possible that for less money than it would cost you for even a bronze Obamacare plan that has, say, I don't know, a $13,000 deductible, you and your family can have better coverage for less money, which, if something happens to you, like a major accident or illness, can pay you and your family thousands or potentially millions of dollars for your struggle. That's maximum extraordinary benefits. Your job as a consumer and as the CEO of your household is to put you and your family in the best position to achieve financial success. Overpaying for insurance coverage or paying a fine that can be avoided takes money out of your budget that could have been used to achieve something else like your goals. Below this video is a link to my website, kevinwinky.com. There you can find out more about the type of coverage you and your family can get for less money than Obamacare's plans, which provide those maximum extraordinary benefits, all while avoiding the tax penalty for being out of compliance. Now, if you like the information in this video, like and share it with your friends and family. Help them understand that they don't have to pay the Obamacare tax penalty and that they have the power to choose the coverage that's best for them. See you on my website. This is Kevin Winky from Olean, New York, signing off.